The election campaigning for the Assembly and 2014 polls has well and truly picked up, and over the last few days, we've seen some very aggressive campaigns by both Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi. Joining us exclusively on NDTV now to look at those campaigns in more detail is Senior Congress leader and Foreign Minister Salman Khurshid. Mr. Khurshid, let me get straight to today's controversy on Rahul Gandhi and the storm that he's created with his remarks that he was told that the ISI approached young Muslims who had lost families in Muzaffarnagar. We've heard Mr. Narendra Modi attack him and say that he has tainted all those who are in Muzaffarnagar's relief camps with that one comment. Mr. Khurshid, how do you respond?
I don't know. I feel tremendous sense of dismay and distress that a public pronouncement about a matter of great sensitivity and seriousness expressed by way of a concern should be treated in the manner in which the BJP and Mr. Narendra Modi are treating it. This is not an endorsement of something that is unacceptable in our country. This is not an encouragement of something that is unwholesome and unsavory. This is a wake-up call that someone is giving based on a very, very tragic, a hugely tragic series of incidents that have happened in Western UP. Mr. Rahul Gandhi comes from UP. He is the leader of our country and our party. He's leading us from the front, and he is deeply concerned about what has happened.
But Mr. Khurshid,
now,
to
trivialize his concern.
But Mr. Khurshid, the criticism doesn't just come from Mr. Modi or from the BJP. The criticism has also come from Muslim clerics today who have said that there are insinuations being made against millions of patriotic Muslims in this country and that they are offended by Rahul Gandhi's remark.
Well, the worst thing that can happen to a person is that they don't know who is a friend and who is a foe. Mr. Rahul Gandhi, and I can say this with total, all the confidence that I have in his character, in his insight, in his sensitivity about issues in our country, that he really cares and he's concerned and he's upset. And so he's saying, let's all wake up. Please don't do things that will lead to the kind of outcomes that are totally unacceptable and detrimental to all of us in our country, not the minority alone, but to all of us. And if people don't understand this, I think they should pause and have a conversation with him. They could ask any one of us, what does he mean? If you don't understand, please ask us, what do you mean? What does he mean? Don't just jump to conclusions. Every time you have to interpret something, it must be seen contextually. It must be seen in a historical context. It must be seen in terms of who is speaking it, what their background is, what their purpose and what their objective will be. Only then can you understand the true meaning of something that's being said.
Sure, but
and what a tragedy it is that something... Sorry?
So, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but as you yourself said, Mr. Rahul Gandhi spoke on a matter that you yourself described as a sensitive one. The other criticism of his comments is that if a sensitive piece of information has been shared with him through an intelligence officer, is that something that he should talk about in a political rally? And what position does he hold in the government to be getting intelligence briefings? That's the third criticism.
See, I think, again, you're reading too much into this. When we travel, irrespective of who we are, even members of parliament, when they travel, and he's a member of parliament, and he is the vice president of the ruling party of our country. And when you travel through the districts, and you travel in the public domain, all kinds of people walk up to you, a policeman, a constable, a local corporator, a local employee can walk up and give you what they think is their assessment of a situation, particularly if a situation is an extremely distressed and disturbed one. And so someone, in this case happened to be from a particular agency, may have, during that public darshan and meetings that take place, may have shared some information with him. It may not necessarily be correct, it may not necessarily be entirely correct, but certainly it was a warning. It was an important social warning that he felt that he had to share with people with whom he felt a sense of empathy, sympathy and a concern.
But why share a piece of information that, as you yourself just said, may not necessarily be correct? Is that, is that an exaggeration that one should do? Yeah.
I know it's not an exaggeration. It's not an exaggeration. I could tell you much worse. I could tell you much worse based on the information that I am receiving from NGOs that are operating in that area. Now, of course, some of that I might want to use in an intelligent conversation, particularly if I want to emphasize the dramatic extent of damage that can happen. I may use that information, but I'm not able to check and cross-check every little bit of that information. But broadly speaking, it must be correct, because these are people who know their business and who know what happens on the ground and who pick up information and then use it. But this is not being used against anyone. Before information like this is used against anyone, you need to cross-check it. But if it's by way of a general feeling, a perception that there is something that could lead to disastrous outcomes and results, you must warn your friends and you must warn the people at large that this is a wake-up call. Please, let's stop here and take stock of what has happened.